What's up, guys? Here with another video. This one is about my time at Fulton County schools. I was a bus driver. This is actually where I got my CDL Class B. I had just gotten back down from Georgia, but I started working at Fulton County schools because if you saw it in my video about when I worked at Publix, I met this one girl who I eventually ended up, going out with, dating and all that. And she had suggested that I work at that I become a bus driver at Fulton County. And the pay was actually the best that I had ever had at that point. And so anyway, she had suggested it, so I decided why not. But for the most part, it was legit, one of the cool things about it was a lot of companies, like transportation companies, want you to come in with your CDL, Class A, B, or whatever, type of license they require. But at Fulton County, they would actually train me and all that stuff, All the trainers were pretty cool for the most part. There was one trainer who was trying to get me in trouble or whatever because before that point, I didn't even, I had my license, but I didn't have my own car, So I had my license for like 2 years, but I never had my own car. As a matter of fact, I had to take my mom's then boyfriend's car to take the driving test when I finally got my license. But anyway, so I had a license, but I hadn't driven since the driver's test for 2 years. And so the trainer didn't like that. One of the qualifications was you have to have your license for at least 2 years or something like that. And here's this older guy, this old man basically, and he was getting all salty about that, I guess. Because one thing about these driving tests, especially with these buses and trucks and stuff like that, is like there's actually maneuvers. Like you have to parallel park, offset park, obviously the road test, and then I think there's a third parking maneuver that I can't think of right now. But anyway, so they had a training program that you would go through where you drive with the trainer and all that stuff. And I just remember, because I was behind as far as where my driving should have been for someone who's had their license for 2 years, I just remember I would always stay after the training, because the training was like, I don't know, about 5 or 6 hours a day, and we got paid for training. But I would always stay after training to practice and all that stuff. Meanwhile, during the actual training, those 5 or 6 hours, you had that one old guy talking to, I guess, the head guy for the Fulton County North, because I think there's a Fulton County South out in Atlanta. And the boss for Fulton County North Transportation I'm pretty sure it's in Roswell or Alpharetta. But the point is, he would talk to him to get me in trouble, or get me to get put out the program, and so while all this is going on, by now she's my girlfriend, the girl that I had started talking to, that I mentioned when in my Publix videos. At this point, like, she's my girlfriend. She's obviously not my girlfriend anymore, but at this point she was, and I was letting her know like what was going on. She was like, oh, like that's a part of it, I guess. That's what happens when you work around a lot of old people. I mean, I guess. Anyway, but she actually wasn't even a driver. She was a driver helper, like on the school bus. So I eventually ended up passing my test, going through the training. I should have said I went through the training and then I passed my driver's test. And so after that, they put me as a regular ed driver, reg ed. My girlfriend at the time thought that I should have been special ed because reg ed is difficult, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm driving around kids, so no big deal to me. But for the most part, it was a pretty cool job. I had initially the elementary school and the high school. They didn't give me a middle school right away. I guess they were trying to ease me into it. But when I had the elementary and high school, like, it was pretty chill. The elementary kids, I mean, they love everyone basically, like if you're the driver, they're gonna always, look up to you, like, in a way, I guess. And high school was easy just because when they get on the bus, they just sit there, talk amongst themselves, or they listen to music. It wasn't until I got my first middle school where I was like, oh no, fuck this shit, man. No, those little mofos were loud, running, laying down in the middle walkway, hallway, whatever you call it, like, of the bus. All of these are safety issues, you know. So obviously, as a bus driver, you're trying to drive the bus safely. Meanwhile, you're trying to, you know, govern, or, you know, look after all these kids back in the back. So I had, I think I had the middle school for like 1 or 2 days when I was like, okay, I realized this probably isn't for me. So moral of this story is, if you can't deal with middle school kids, don't be a bus driver unless you got some special situation, you know. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got for now. Peace out.